Hello, listeners! Welcome to our channel, Learn English with Podcast. Ever reached for that quick snack or ready-made meal, thinking it'll save you time, only to feel sluggish or bloated afterward? We've all been there. Processed and packaged foods are tempting, convenient, cheap, and full of flavor. But what's really going on inside those snacks and meals? In today's episode, we're uncovering the hidden costs of these foods and revealing how avoiding them can leave you feeling more energized, healthier, and even more in control of your life. It's time to break free from the convenience trap. Your body will thank you. At last, I'll share some real-life stories of people who had ditched these processed and packaged foods. But before we dive into today's topic, let's quickly introduce today's guests, Alan and Alice. They are here to let us know the benefits of avoiding processed and packaged foods. Let's get started.
We've all been there, right? Like that moment when you just really want a bag of chips or maybe a frozen dinner, anything, but actually making a healthy meal.
It's so true. It's like our brains just go on autopilot sometimes.
Exactly. Today, we're diving deep into the world of processed foods, why we crave them, the hidden costs, and how to make smarter choices without feeling like we're, sacrificing all the good stuff.
I love that because it's not about deprivation. It's about making choices that support our well-being.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised by just how quickly your body actually responds to better fuel.
Oh, absolutely. It's remarkable how resilient our bodies are.
Okay, so first things first. It feels like processed foods are everywhere we turn. What is it about these foods that makes them so irresistible? I mean, even when we kind of know they're not the best for us.
Well, it's fascinating, actually. These foods are designed to tap into our most basic instincts.
Basic instincts? Like, what do you mean?
Well, for one, they're convenient, often ready to eat,
right?
Minimal effort, and that's huge in our busy lives. But it goes deeper than that. They're actually engineered to be addictive.
Addictive?
Really?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about it. Sugar, salt, fat. The trifecta of processed food.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
Salt enhances flavor. Sugar gives you that quick energy. And fat, well, fat makes everything taste better.
Makes sense. It's like they're hitting all the pleasure centers in our brains.
Exactly. They trigger those feel-good chemicals, making us want more and more.
It's like they've figured out the recipe for instant gratification.
And it's not just the ingredients themselves. It's the marketing, too. The packaging, the slogans, they make us think that even unhealthy choices are somehow good for us.
It's true. It's like they're speaking to that part of us that wants it all: convenience, taste, and health, even if it's not really the full picture.
You hit the nail on the head. And let's not forget the availability of these foods. I mean, they're everywhere. Grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, you name it.
It's hard to escape sometimes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this constant exposure combined with clever marketing and our own biology, it creates a perfect storm for making breaking free from processed foods a real challenge.
But this isn't just about, expanding waistlines, right? The long-term consequences of a diet filled with processed foods, it goes way beyond that.
You're absolutely right. There are serious implications for our health.
Like what specifically? What are some of the biggest concerns?
Well, one major concern is the sheer amount of sugar in these foods.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a leading contributor to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even some cancers.
Wow. It's scary to think something that seems so harmless can have such a big impact.
It is. And we can't ignore the sodium either. Most of us are consuming way more than we should, largely because of processed foods. And that increases the risk of high blood pressure and stroke.
There's like a double whammy: sugar and sodium.
Exactly. It's a recipe for disaster in the long run.
This is all pretty alarming. Are there other hidden dangers we should be aware of?
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole world of artificial additives lurking in these foods.
Additives? Like what kinds?
Preservatives, artificial sweeteners, colorings, you name it. And the thing is, we don't fully understand the long-term effects of many of these things.
It's a bit unsettling to think about.
It is. Some studies have linked certain additives to things like allergic reactions, digestive problems, even hormonal disruptions.
Wow. So we're putting these things into our bodies without really knowing the full story.
That's the scary part.
And what about the nutritional value of processed foods? Are we basically just filling up on empty calories?
That's a great question. And that's one of the biggest downsides of processed foods. They're often stripped of the nutrients our bodies really need: fiber, vitamins, minerals.
So even if we feel full, it's like we're still missing out on the good stuff.
Exactly. It's like filling your car with the wrong kind of fuel. It might run for a while, but eventually it's going to cause problems.
So we're being tricked into consuming foods that might be harming us all while missing out on the nutrients that help us thrive. That raises a big question. Why is it so hard to break free from this processed food trap? I mean, we know all this, but it's still so tough to resist sometimes.
Oh, it's definitely a challenge, and there's no easy answer. But let's dig into that more after a quick break.
Sounds good. Let's take a moment to reset and we'll be right back.
You know, it's really complex. There's no easy answer. It's like a perfect storm of factors.
So unpack that for me. What makes this trap so hard to escape?
Well, like we talked about, those combinations of sugar, salt, and fat, they're carefully crafted. They kind of hijack our taste buds, you know?
Yeah, I get that. Like, our brains think these foods are essential, even when they're not.
Exactly. It's like a primal instinct almost. But it's not just a physical thing either.
What else is going on?
Emotions. Emotions play a huge role.
Really? How so?
Well, think about it. When we're stressed, tired down, it's easy to reach for those comforting, familiar foods.
Yeah. Like seeking solace in a bag of chips or some ice cream.
Precisely. It's like we're trying to numb out those negative feelings, even if it's just temporary.
And it works sometimes, doesn't it? At least for a little bit.
Right. But then there's habit, too. Don't underestimate the power of habit.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. For sure.
For so many of us, these foods have been around since we were kids. We grew up with them, you know. It's like they're woven into our lives.
It's true. It can be hard to break those associations.
Exactly. That makes it that much harder to let go.
It can feel really overwhelming, to be honest. Like, where do you even begin?
I hear you. But here's the good news. Even small changes can have a big impact.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Our bodies are incredibly resilient. They respond surprisingly quickly to positive shifts.
That is good news. It's not all doom and gloom.
Not at all. It's about empowerment, not deprivation.
That's what I like to hear. So it's not about like ditching everything overnight.
Right, exactly. It's about making informed choices, gradually shifting our habits.
More of a gentle nudge than a hard shove.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And one of the most effective strategies is to start with small swaps.
Small swaps. Like what? Give me some examples.
Sure. So instead of sugary cereal in the morning, maybe try oatmeal with some fruit and nuts. Or instead of chips, maybe air-popped popcorn or veggie sticks with hummus.
Little changes. Big impact.
Got it. Exactly. And meal prepping can be a game changer too.
Meal prepping. How does that help?
Well, if you spend a little time each week to prepare healthy meals and snacks, you're less likely to grab those processed options when you're hungry and pressed for time.
Makes sense. Like setting yourself up for success.
Exactly. What about when you're at the grocery store, though?
Yeah.
Surrounded by all those tempting options. Any advice for navigating that?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I always feel like I need a strategy going in.
Well, become a label detective. That's my advice.
A label detective, what does that entail?
Don't be fooled by those healthy claims on the front of the package, you know. Flip it over. Read the ingredient list. Look for hidden sugars, unhealthy fats, artificial additives.
Oh yeah, the sneaky stuff.
Exactly. The more you know about what you're actually eating, the better choices you can make.
Knowledge is power.
Right. Absolutely. And here's a simple trick I use. Stick to the perimeter of the grocery store.
The perimeter. Why the perimeter?
That's usually where you'll find the fresh produce, the lean proteins, the whole grains. You know, the middle aisles are where the processed foods tend to lurk.
So it's like creating a barrier out of sight, out of mind.
Precisely. It can help reduce temptation.
Yeah.
So what about the rewards, though? What can people expect when they start incorporating more whole foods into their lives?
That's a great question. What are some of the positive changes we might see?
Well, one of the first things you'll likely notice is a boost in energy.
Really? No more afternoon slump.
You got it.
Yeah.
Without those sugar crashes and energy dips that come with processed foods, you'll experience more sustained energy throughout the day.
So it's like our bodies are finally getting the good stuff they need to run smoothly.
Exactly. And as your body starts getting those nutrients, you might see changes in your weight too.
Oh. In what way?
Well, whole foods. They're naturally more filling and satisfying, which means you'll probably eat less without even trying. It's not about dieting. It's about nourishing your body.
That makes sense. So it's not about deprivation. It's about giving your body what it actually needs.
Precisely. Are there benefits beyond weight and energy, though?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. What else might we experience?
Well, don't forget about gut health. Fiber is essential for good digestion, and it's abundant in whole foods like fruits, veggies, whole grains.
So by eating more of those, we're helping our digestion run smoothly.
Exactly. It's like giving your gut a tune-up.
Yeah.
But the benefits go beyond just the physical, too.
Oh, tell me more.
Studies have shown a link between a whole food diet and improved mood,
Huh?
reduced anxiety, less stress.
Wow. So it's like nourishing our minds along with our bodies.
Exactly, and that's not all. Reducing processed foods can significantly lower your risk of developing chronic diseases like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and some types of cancer.
It's really about taking control of our health, making choices that support our well-being long term.
You got it. And to really drive that point home, think about this. Studies have shown that nearly 60% of the calories in the average American diet come from ultra-processed foods.
It's 60%.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It is. And it's directly correlated with rising rates of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic conditions.
It's a wake-up call, for sure. We need to pay attention to what we're putting into our bodies.
Absolutely. And research has even shown a link between processed food intake and an increased risk of certain types of cancer.
Really?
Yeah. One study found that those who consumed the most ultra-processed foods had a 19% higher risk of developing any type of cancer compared to those who consumed the least.
That's pretty significant. It's a powerful reminder that what we eat matters.
It really does. Not just for today, but for our long-term health and longevity.
So where do we go from here? It can feel daunting to make these changes.
I understand.
Yeah.
But remember, our bodies are amazingly resilient. Even small shifts in our diet can have a noticeable impact on our energy, digestion, mood, overall well-being.
That's encouraging to hear. So it's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about progress.
Exactly. We don't have to overhaul our entire lives overnight. It's about taking small steps, making gradual changes.
One day at a time.
Exactly. And I've seen it firsthand. People who are struggling with fatigue, digestive issues, weight fluctuations, they find that these problems just disappear when they start nourishing their bodies with whole, unprocessed foods.
It's like hitting the reset button, giving our bodies a chance to heal.
Precisely.
Yeah.
To illustrate this, let me share a couple of real-life examples I find inspiring.
I'd love to hear them.
Okay, so I know this woman who struggled with sugar cravings her entire life.
I think we all know someone like that. Sugar can be tough.
It can. So she decided to make a change. She gradually reduced her sugar intake, swapped sugary drinks for water and her herbal tea, opted for fresh fruit instead of processed sweets.
Small changes, but they add up.
Exactly. And over time, her cravings subsided, her energy levels went up, she felt more in control. It wasn't easy at first, but she stuck with it.
That's inspiring. It shows what's possible.
It does. And I have another one, a man who had been dealing with persistent digestive issues for years.
Oh, no. That's awful.
It was, he tried everything, medications, treatments, nothing seemed to work.
So what did he do?
Well, he started paying attention to the link between his diet and his gut health, and he realized he was eating a lot of processed foods.
The connection.
So he decided to experiment. He started incorporating more whole, unprocessed foods, fruits, veggies, whole grains, fermented foods.
That did help.
His digestive problems gradually disappeared. It was like his body was finally getting what it needed to heal.
It's amazing how powerful food can be.
It really is. These stories and countless others like them, they highlight the impact our dietary choices can have on our overall health and well-being.
It's empowering to know that we have a choice. We're not stuck.
Exactly. It can feel challenging, especially in a world where processed foods are so readily available and often marketed as the easy option.
Oh, yeah. Convenience is a big selling point.
It is. But I want to encourage everyone listening to view this not as a restriction, but as an opportunity.
An opportunity.
For what?
To reclaim your health. To discover the incredible variety and deliciousness of whole, unprocessed foods. It's like opening up a whole new world.
I love that perspective. So it's not about deprivation. It's about exploration.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about finding a balance that works for you, that allows you to enjoy your favorite foods in moderation.
It's about creating a sustainable lifestyle that supports both our physical and mental well-being.
You got it. And one of the most common concerns I hear is, but what about special occasions? Do I have to give up all the foods I love?
That's a valid question.
Yeah.
I think we all wonder about that sometimes.
And the answer is absolutely not. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Food is a big part of that enjoyment. It's all about finding a balance.
So it's okay to indulge sometimes.
Of course. The key is to be mindful and intentional. If you're going to indulge, savor every bite, enjoy the experience, and then get back on track with your healthy habits.
It's about creating a healthy relationship with food, not an all-or-nothing approach. Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you slip up, when you reach for that processed snack or have a little more than you planned.
We're all human. It happens.
Exactly. And that's okay. The important thing is to acknowledge those slip-ups, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Don't let perfection be the enemy of progress.
Every day is a new opportunity.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are tons of resources available to support you. Cookbooks, websites, online communities, health professionals. Don't be afraid to reach out for help.
It's like having a whole team in your corner.
Precisely. And as you embark on this journey of embracing a less processed life, be patient with yourself. Changing habits takes time and effort. It's a commitment to making gradual, sustainable changes.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And as you start to experience the benefits of a whole food diet, you'll find it's more than worth the effort.
What kind of benefits are we talking about?
You'll feel more energized, more focused, more vibrant. Your digestion will improve. Your mood will lift. Your risk of chronic diseases will decrease. It's like unlocking a whole new level of health and well-being.
That sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I have a question for you.
I'm all ears.
What's one small step someone can take today to start fueling their body better and embracing a less processed life?
Well, it could be something as simple as swapping out that sugary drink for water, or packing a healthy snack for work, or maybe just taking a minute to read the ingredient list on that packaged food you love.
It's about those baby steps, right?
Exactly. It doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming change. Just one small step that sets you on the path.
One step at a time. And you know what? Every step is a victory, no matter how small.
Absolutely. Celebrate those wins. And as you embark on this journey, remember, there's a whole world of culinary delights out there, just waiting to be discovered.
It's like opening a door to a whole new world.
Exactly. Embracing a less processed life. It's not about restriction. It's about expanding your horizons, exploring the incredible variety and deliciousness of whole, unprocessed foods.
You know, I used to think that healthy eating meant I was stuck with salads and bland meals, but then I started experimenting with different flavors, textures, cuisines, and wow, it can be so exciting and satisfying.
It's true. It's about rediscovering the joy of cooking, playing with fresh ingredients, creating meals that nourish your body and your soul.
And the best part is, it's a journey of continuous learning. Always something new to try. A new recipe, a new flavor combination.
It's about embracing the abundance and diversity of food, finding what truly speaks to you and your lifestyle.
So no more feeling deprived. It's about finding what you love.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get creative. Try new things. Experiment. You might surprise yourself.
I think sometimes we get stuck in a rut, you know? The same old meals week after week.
It happens, but there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
Oh, yeah. There's so much support out there.
There are cookbooks, websites, cooking classes, online communities. It's like having a whole team of culinary experts at your fingertips.
It's like having a built-in sharing section.
Exactly. And as you start to incorporate more whole unprocessed foods, you'll likely find that your taste buds start to change too.
Really? They change.
They do. It's amazing how adaptable our palates are. Foods that once seemed bland or unappealing, they start to taste vibrant and delicious.
It's like your body is saying thank you.
Exactly. It's like your body is finally getting what it craves. And as you continue on this journey, you'll probably find that you naturally gravitate towards those healthier choices.
So it becomes less about willpower, more about listening to your body.
Precisely. You'll start to crave fresh fruits and vegetables, hearty whole grains, lean proteins, and those processed foods that used to be so tempting, they'll start to lose their appeal.
Because you're not craving those empty calories anymore.
Exactly. So trust your body, listen to its cues, embrace the journey of discovering what truly nourishes you.
It's about tuning into what your body really needs.
You got it. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of processed foods, I want to leave you with one final thought.
I'm all ears.
It's this. Remember that food is more than just fuel. It's a source of nourishment, enjoyment, connection, celebration. It's a gift that we get to experience every day, a gift worth cherishing.
It's about appreciating the experience, the connection, the joy.
Exactly. So let's approach food with mindfulness, gratitude, a sense of adventure. Let's savor the flavors, appreciate the nourishment, share the joy of food with those we love. And let's make choices that support our health, our well-being, and the health of our planet.
Beautifully said. I couldn't agree more. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of processed foods.
Yeah.
I hope you feel empowered to make choices that nourish your body and support your well-being.
Me too. And remember, every little step counts. So start small, celebrate those wins, and enjoy the journey.
Until next time. Happy eating, everyone.
As I promised earlier to share some real-life stories, So here are some of them. First story is about Sarah from New York. Sarah used to rely on takeout and snacks. After meal prepping with simple, fresh foods, she felt more energized, lost weight, and her skin cleared up. Now she's hooked on homemade meals. Second story is about John from Texas. John swapped his sugary breakfast bars and creamy coffee for oatmeal and black coffee. After a month, his energy levels improved, and he stopped crashing in the afternoons. He's never going back. Third story is about Emma from California. After a health scare, Emma ditched fast food and started cooking simple, whole food meals. She felt more energized and healthier, and her blood pressure improved. Fourth story is about Mike from Florida. Mike cut out frozen meals and junk food after high cholesterol and blood sugar issues. Cooking from scratch helped him lose weight, lower his cholesterol, and feel healthier.